In right there, so is where God can humble you real quick. Because when you have superseded yourself in a way that you know nobody at all can talk to you, that gift can get taken away.
Just wait on it.
Or that talent
Yeah,
can
man.
get taken away.
The Bible
It
don't
may
say
not have to
pride
be
goeth
something
before a fall.
extreme. It may not have to be something extreme, but you yourself can be your own downfall.
Yo, yo, yo. We're glad to have you guys in this great space. We are your hosts.
Kevaughn.
Mandy.
Candace.
Thank you guys all for liking.
So, you're not going to tell your name?
Oh, yeah, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. Thank you guys all for watching us, liking us, supporting the content on a regular. Alright, so, Mandy, how was your week?
It was a good week this week. Yeah, it was a good week. Usually my weeks are boring, but it was a good week, you know. I got to see some of my friends graduate last weekend. Very proud of them.
Congrats to the graduate.
Yes,
Congrats to all the UE graduates. We're so proud of you guys. We know it's a really hard task.
You guys escaped captivity.
And a mighty long way to go.
So big up on ourselves. Yeah, it was a good week. How was your week?
It was alright. Alright, taking over the world as usual.
Every week, Brandon come and tell us something because I read.
It was alright. It was alright. It was alright.
Because I read.
Yeah.
It was alright. It was a good week. Got some stuff done. Next week gonna be hectic because of the sports day.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming up in the district.
But yeah, it's been good. Candace?
My week was busy. Busy. Lots of meetings, lots of things due. Next week will be no different. But, we take it all in good stride with the Lord's help. Yeah. So, all right, we're here. We're alive. And that's what matters.
Indeed. Kevaughn.
Whoa.
My week was...
Not so good.
It was alright. Had a lot of ups and downs, but I made it through. I want to thank God that I'm still here, living, breathing. And I want to thank God that I'm here with you guys yet another week. Yeah. Really love being here with you guys.
Stop, man.
Making me blush over here.
All that mushy stuff.
Careful.
Man.
Yeah.
We're grateful for you and we're glad to be here with you.
Glad to be here, man.
Always,
Yeah.
Glad to
Thank
be
you
here.
very much.
You're welcome.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough of
So
that.
the verse of the day. So guys, the verse of the day is Psalms 10, verse 4. It reads, "In his pride, the wicked man does not seek him. In all his thoughts, there is no room for God." To jot that down in your phones and put what's a bookmarker in the Bible for that one.
Yeah.
Highlight it.
Yeah.
Highlight it, read your mind.
Meditate upon it.
Yep.
Yes.
Repeat
Yes.
it. Put up on your doorpost. On your lintel. None of them they say.
Yeah, that's what they
said.
say.
That's what they said.
You remember those
Yeah.
things that your grandparents used to have in their house? Like these plaque-looking scriptures?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
at every doorway.
Every doorway.
Every
So,
doorway.
yeah, get one of those and get Psalms 10, verse 4. So we have an interesting episode for you guys. An episode on pride.
Yep.
Pride and humility.
Yes, so what the differences between the two.
Yeah.
And maybe give you guys some insights and some information as to, are you prideful or are you humble? Or you're not sure?
Is it
We'll
bad
find
to
out
have
today.
pride?
Yeah. We're going to share our own experiences with those
Yes.
things as well.
Share an experience and show you guys
Yeah.
some things. So,
Yeah.
we have a definition for pride here. Pride can be defined as elevating one's opinions and thoughts above God's authoritative word. It shows its ugly face in many forms, and one of these forms is relying on your own strength and wisdom to be successful. Now, when we think about pride, sometimes we label pride as a bad thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we label it as a bad thing. We're like, oh, I'm full of pride, I'm arrogant. Sometimes we say arrogant for pride. We as Jamaicans like to use words for different things. we normally relate pride to bad things, but pride is also, having pride is a good thing also.
Yeah.
Having too much pride,
It's
then
the
it becomes a bad thing.
it's the degree
Yeah, it's
of pride that you have.
and sometimes
Everything in moderation.
I guess when you break it down, like when your mother will say take some pride in your schoolwork, she's basically telling you do better,
Yeah.
do better. You
Be
can't,
concerned about this area of your life.
yeah, you can't be getting 20s in the maths test.
Jeez,
I'm coming home and expecting a PS5. That's not
Come
how it
on.
works.
I call it cash pot grade.
Yeah, cash pot grade. Yeah. I collect China money.
You could have said 15 and you got all the way down
Well,
No,
20.
my maths stories back in the day, man.
Oh, child.
Yeah, so
Things
Jeez.
are
And
gonna
also-
get easier.
with pride, like when your room isn't clean, your mother would say take pride in your space.
Yeah.
You know, do
And in
better
yourself.
with the space that you have.
Yeah.
the
And
air
how
that
you
have.
look.
How you operate
Yeah.
as a whole, like your outward appearance.
Yeah.
If you're always not looking too put together and looking shabby, your parents will always say to you, take pride in yourself, in the way you look.
Yeah,
Put
how you
yourself
look.
together nicely.
Look
Yeah.
like somebody picnic.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that, the the negative version of pride now would be when you believe that you are above persons.
Yeah.
You feel like you're above other people. You believe that I know it all, and if you tell me something, I know so it go. Where you somehow condition your mind to believe that you're the greatest thing
Yeah, man.
out there.
It's as if the sun rises and falls on your opinion.
Everything must
And it
happen when you're there.
revolves.
Yeah.
The world revolves around you.
Yeah, and sometimes, no, not sometimes. That's not a good way to look at life, and that's not what the Bible wants us to do also. Because just like definition, we said that pride is elevating one's opinions and thoughts above God's authoritative word. So meaning that if a form of pride, right, is sometimes when you believe that you know more than God, right? You believe that you know more than the creator of the universe, the creator of time. And you have a situation and you want to work it out, but you say, God, you're basically saying, God, you're moving too fast, so I'm going to do it myself. Moving too slow, sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to work it out myself. I'm going to try and make it work, and then I see where I go. And then God will just stand there and watch you and say, all right, we'll see where you go. Since you don't want to wait on me, I'll see what you do. And maybe I'll help you. Maybe I'll come there and say, Candace, I'll help you.
You know what's crazy? So many times we don't understand that a lot of the things that we're doing are actually, or is actually pride.
Yeah.
Like, for example, one little thing that always catches me is group work. So, group work is something that many people despise because of how, your experience turns out with the other participants.
Yeah.
And we often try to use other things to cover up the fact that it's pride we have. Like for me, I oftentimes, even when the group could have many members, because I know the standard of work I produce and how I always aim for the highest thing, I feel like what everybody else is producing in the group work
It's trash.
is subpar and it's not up to my standard.
Yep.
And I will just resort to doing sometimes I'll resort to doing the entire thing myself. And I'll just chalk it up to being a perfectionist when really and truly it's pride, because I'm thinking that I'm better than all the other group members.
I'm the smartest one here.
I'm the smartest one here, so I'm just gonna do everything. And you might have said, oh, them now do it on time. There are instances where you don't get stuff on time and you do have to do it, but other times when they're there and available and willing and they have even submitted their parts, and you look over it and you say to yourself, this not sound ready, like it needs something more. And you might even go as far as tweaking the person's work just to fit your standards. That is an instance of pride and not necessarily perfection like you think it is. That catch me enough time.
Gives you enough time.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
all the
Enough
time.
time. Enough time.
All
Enough
the
time.
time.
I mean, I guess that's one. Another one is, I think I stated it before, when you have a problem and you decide to fix it yourself.
And I think
That's
riding
that's,
on that
that's one
to
as
some
well.
extent, it's the belief that you have big and small problems. When you are coming to God and praying, pride can show itself in you thinking that there is a category of problem that you need to bring to God.
Oh,
Believing that you can take care of the smaller things, what you deem the smaller things, and God can take care of the larger things. Not understanding that everything you ought to bring to the Lord. You're supposed to take everything to Him in prayer. It's you trusting in your own ability to produce that would allow you then to fall into the trap of anxiety. Because now your entire belief system is weighing upon you solely to take care and accomplish this task because you believe you can. So you're putting pride in your ability to produce. And because of that, you put pressure on yourself. And then you fall into the trap of anxiety, wondering, how am I going to get this done? I can't do this by myself. Oh, am I going to manage to do this? And you're worrying and you're worrying and you're worrying. When all of this occurred because of your pride and your
Bible
belief in
says,
yourself.
"Trust in the Lord
with all your
Yeah.
with
heart.
all thine heart
And
and
lean
lean
not
not
onto your
onto
own
your own
understanding.
understanding." Yeah.
So
We do that a lot.
And it's, I find for somebody like me who, when you know you can do it, or life has showed you that you can do it, it's hard not to rest or be reassured in that.
Yeah.
For somebody who has just always been that bright person, who has always been that person that you call on to do a certain thing. So if you were the person who could do hair, you did hair well, and everybody told you that you did it well. When you constantly fall under that or receive accolades in those certain areas, it is difficult now for you to pull yourself away from that identity that everybody else has given you and not to take pride in what it is that you have been constantly told that
Yeah.
you are and that you are good at. It's extremely difficult, but the Bible is still asking you to remove yourself from the equation. You never just born smart. The Lord gave you the ability to understand. Where does the glory go after you've received the accolade? Do you acknowledge Him as your source? Do you understand that He is the driving force behind your ability to produce? Where does your glory go after you've received the accolade? I think that is also another part
Yeah.
of pride.
That's something to think
Yeah.
about right there. Do you have any experiences, Kev, as far as it goes with pride?
I've had a few. As I said, with school, a lot of times when I'll have assignments, and I, what I'll do first is sometimes I'll give persons the benefit of the doubt, and they'll contribute their part and so on. But the thing is that I already have an image of what I want already
Yeah.
to be done. So it's as if I've judged them already, even though I haven't seen what they can do. So yeah, so when I see what they have done, and a lot of times it's if it's not suiting to what I like, I just go ahead and just put my little thing
Or
on it,
razzle dazzle
and
on it.
yeah, and it's something that after I've struggled with, and I believe uh, I'm working on it with the help of God, praying and so forth, to let me understand that everything doesn't have to go my way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes I can take a step back
Yeah.
and relax.
Mm-hmm.
The world doesn't revolve around me. I'm not the main character. Even though I'm the main character
Yeah.
in my life, I'm not the main character when it comes to the social environment,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
and
yeah,
how
yeah.
I interact with persons to get get the job done, because a big part of our Christianity is working together to
Yeah.
achieve God's plan. It's not
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's not our plan.
It's not our
Mm-hmm.
plan. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
God's plan and what He wants us to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even with ministry, ministry and in church activities, we have to always remember that it's not what we want. It's not we are not the main character in what we're doing.
We're supposed
It's not going to go our way. It's God's way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
our supposed to go how God way, and it's really important to
Mm.
really pray and have that connection and that relationship with God. So
Mhm.
whenever He talks, you listen and you hear what He has to say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my experience with pride. There are other experiences where I would say that I it's I would say that sometimes I feel, not sometimes, but I guess this is back then when I was smaller. I would feel as if persons are not up to my level, separate and apart from schoolwork.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's I guess you can call it classism or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a thing where I didn't feel the need to talk to you because I feel like you're up on my level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
money
Yeah,
macanize, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and I sometimes it used to be a thing that I would go out of my way and make persons know that up on my level, like.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so you did a go
Oh.
on. You did a go on with yourself, man.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
that's
You
even the
did hype.
situation with
Oh my
Hype.
the
gosh.
Clarks. Remember the Clark shoes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was me being prideful and not being humble. It was
Mm.
me wanting to have that image. I already had an image in my mind of what I wanted to look like.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
I want
Mm-hmm.
to be that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
brother walking
Step
out of
on it.
school at
Yeah.
Stepper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just stay
Definitely.
humble, man. Stay humble,
Yeah.
and um, the Bible says that God rewards those who seek Him, and
Mhm.
who stay humble and do what He wants you to do,
Mm-hmm.
and not what you want Him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can find that verse, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it's
that's
true.
it basically.
And one of the Beatitudes, I believe, say, "Blessed are the meek,
Yeah.
But they
for
should
they shall inherit the earth." Is it
I don't
that?
know.
is that the meek or
That's
is
it
that pure in
there.
heart?
I think it's a pure in
Pure
heart.
in
Pure in
heart.
I
heart.
think it's pure in
Yeah.
heart.
Something did that about meek, but
Yeah,
I
one
know.
of them. In the comments, drop them in the
I don't
comments.
remember what it said. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
it is a hard problem.
Right.
Yes,
It
it
really is a
is.
Yes, it
hard
is.
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
And you said something so very important while you were talking about while we're in church, and we mentioned it in one of our past episodes when we were sharing about gifts and talents. When we recognize what our gift or purpose or thing is within the church community, many times we can see ourselves as being above other people in the church
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
what they do.
Mhm.
So you have Sister Wire, because I'm looking at it down
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Sister Wire, she could
In the church.
possibly be, one of the persons that clean the church, versus Sister Light, who is like
Praise and worship leader.
the praise and worship leader with the modest voice.
Mhm.
And you sometimes you even want heal up Sister Wire when you see her a road.
Yeah.
or include her in anything that's being done. Oh, because sister, why you not have your kind of talent, or she not upon your level with the way you are do. You are do praise and worship, you are lead, you do all of them something there, and just because she a clean the church,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
not forget included in other activities that are going on, or she not forget healings or road or
It's not
stuff
even
like
that
that.
she wouldn't get it. It's just that you just don't see
You
her.
don't see her
You
worthy
don't see
of
her.
getting
You don't
those
consider
things.
her.
Yeah.
She's not even an afterthought. She's not a thought. Period.
I think that's when it's no longer a ministry after that. So that's why you're thinking it's no longer a
No.
It's
ministry.
a,
It's just
it's a,
Yeah,
it's a
and
it's a
ministry.
in
class.
right there, so is where God can humble you real quick.
Yeah, take it.
Because
Yeah.
when you have superseded yourself in a way that nobody at all can talk to you, that gift can get taken away.
Just wait on
or
it.
that talent
Yeah,
can
man.
get taken
Yeah.
away.
The Bible
It
not
may
say
not have to
pride
be
goeth
something
before a fall.
Yes, it
extreme.
does.
It
Yeah.
may not have to be something extreme, but you yourself can be your own downfall.
100%.
And God can take that the same way how He gave it to you is the same way how Him can take
Just
it
like
back.
Saul.
I have a story for
Yes.
that.
Yeah, hold on.
Yes.
Just like in
Yeah.
Saul, I think they're supposed to. I don't remember the whole story. I don't remember the whole story with Saul, but I remember he went to see what was the name again? One of them.
Like an oracle.
Yeah, the oracle.
Or
Yeah,
a
he went to
seer
see
or
an
something
oracle.
like
He
that.
wanted to get some information
Yeah.
on how he could win. I think it was a battle or something. He win a battle, and then because he didn't want to wait on God. I
Yeah.
think he didn't want to wait on God. He was like, I can't bother to wait on God right now. And then he went out of his way to find an oracle, and then she did her thing, bamboozled the youth Saul, and then I think that same battle, I think Saul died. I saw.
Whoa.
I don't remember
Man, they lost me.
the whole. I don't remember the whole story, but I remember Saul went out of his way to meet the oracle to get information how they would win. I think,
Yeah,
and I
remember
think
that.
God switched it on him, and he was like, You think you're bigger than? You think she bigger than?
You think you can
You don't want to
circumvent
talk to me, so you want to talk to this lady. Say, all right, I'll
Yeah.
switch it on you, and I'll take away what I've given you years before. When I think that Samuel Lee, they call him out. Samuel Lee said, "You're supposed to be the king." Yeah, and he took that away, and then hence why you have David.
Yeah.
David was the king after that, I think so.
My story on pride going before a fall was when we had, I think it was literature class. And we had an assignment to do. We did it, and we were being given back our scores and whatnot. And now, being the student I am, I'm used to certain grades, right? I was up there in the class. And so we're getting back the grades, and Miss said what the highest grade was, and she said what the lowest grade was, and she was giving out the papers, but she wasn't giving them in any specific order. And so now I get back my paper, like everybody's getting back their paper, and I got back my paper last, but it wasn't like any specific order. And she said how the highest grade was like in 90s, and the lowest grade was like in the 30s. So I'm just like, channel.
So I need literature and
Oh, I'm scared. So I'm like, all right. When I collected that paper, bad man. When I got back that paper, I was the one who got the lowest grade. I could not. I could not believe it. One big old fat 35 was looking at me on that paper. And I was just like, what do you mean? I went to Miss, I'm like, Miss, what is going on? She's like, you obviously misunderstood the instructions. You gave me a whole epistle for what I did not ask you for. And that's when you think you know it all. And you're killing up yourself, doing the most when you think you know it all. You have it patterned. You have it in the bag. Nobody can talk to you about this. And then look at that. You did so much for nothing at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. It clapped me real hard in my face that day.
So
After that, literature was just never my subject.
we've shared some
But we
stuff
digress.
on pride, and I won't go through the part about humility now.
Oh.
where we'll go through the part about humility. And I think Kevaughn kind of, in his story about pride, his experience, he kind of gave an explanation of technically what humility is. He gave it as a definition. So humility means that we know we are God's children and we should love ourselves as he loves us. But we do not become self-seeking, greedy, or arrogant in spirit or in material things. Humility in the Bible is presented as the practice of meekness, obedience to God, respect of self and others, submissiveness. So yeah, we gave you guys the definition of humility, and being humble is not easy. It's not easy being humble.
No, it's not.
But the Bible requires us to practice humility every day in everything that we do, because God is only going to listen to a heart that is humble and willing to listen, willing to learn. He's going to listen to those. He's not going to listen to a heart full of pride.
Yes, that's so true.
You already believe that you're him.
Yeah.
You're the main character. You are the protagonist, you know?
Pride doesn't listen.
Right?
Pride doesn't open your heart to hear advice or to take correction. If you have an issue taking correction, you might have a pride problem.
And also, being humble is not about being shy and being timid.
No, it's
There's
not.
this misconception in Jamaica where they think the humble guy is a guy who's in the corner, you know, by himself, cooped up like this, and they say he's humble. Brother, you're not humble.
You're
just quiet.
shy.
You're just quiet and shy.
Yeah.
That's not what humble is.
No.
Humble is the person, they know who they are in Christ. They know who they are about themselves, and they carry themselves in a certain type of way. That's what it means to be humble.
Humility all has to do with where you place your belief. Pride places belief in self. Humility understands that you can't do that. Humility understands that your belief or your strength and your support comes from outside of yourself. It comes from God. So to be humble is to understand that you are finite, you are one person, and you cannot and will never do the impossible. And to be okay with that realization is really, I would think, a good start for becoming a humble person. To be okay with the understanding that you are finite and that you will always need the Lord's help.
Yeah.
Is a good step.
Yeah, that's literally it.
That's basically it,
That's basically
honestly.
Yeah.
But it's hard to exercise it when you think that you're this type of person because you're good at this, and if they don't have you, you think they're not going to complete it. You know, as Kevaughn said, he wants to start taking a seat back and letting God do His thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's what God needs. That's what God needs from you. He doesn't want it to be taken on these different things, because if you're doing that, He's saying you don't need me then.
Yeah, you're acting as if I don't need to be consulted, as if you know it all. So go ahead.
And that's not what it is to be humble.
No, it's not.
And I guess the last thing we can say with being humble also is when you know in your, like, the best example I like to use, I asked in the group with David. David was humble. Right? He spent time with the Lord. He was with the Lord, and he was taking care of sheep. And, you know, he was doing his thing, protecting the sheep. And I remember when David came across, he heard about Goliath. And his brothers were saying, you're not going to beat him. And this is an interesting way of looking at humility. But David humbled himself before the Lord. Hence, he was confident in the Lord.
Yes.
Right? Because sometimes you being confident in yourself will only get you so far. But pride goes before a fall. But David humbled himself in the Lord, and he was confident in the Lord that he knew that whatever Goliath would throw at him, he would easily defend himself.
Yeah.
And he clapped Goliath
I'm afraid.
Easy clap. Headshot KO. Headshot dead.
Fatality.
Right? So
Finish him.
you know, and with that, you guys should exercise humility.
Yeah.
It's okay to have pride. It's okay to have pride, you know, but not
to an extent.
to an extent.
Yeah.
Don't go with your disrespecting people and all that. That's not. That's not.
And check yourself, because your pride, your fall might not be for you. It can affect somebody
Yes.
closest to you. I remember this one time somebody had shared that she had valued her kids so much. Like they had, when I'm saying, they became her world, her everything, and she had totally forgotten God in the midst of it all. And she remember the first one, which was our true love, her first child. He had fallen ill to cancer at a young age, at age 11.
Almighty.
And I remember when she was crying and she was bawling and talking about it, and she was asking God, you know, how how could he do this? It's like she said the spirit just dropped in her was that you put your son before me.
Yep.
And when she said she looked back and she evaluated how she was living her life, it was true because everything was just that one son, the first son. Her whole life revolved around him, his schedule, everything he was doing. And, being an involved parent and a good parent is awesome. But at some point, you have to draw back and think about where is God in all of this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is He in your life? Where is He helping you as a parent? Because she probably thought she had it all figured out and she was being the best mom ever because that's what she was striving to be,
Yeah.
the greatest mom ever. And in the midst of all that, her pride was there, shining, shining, shining bright. And she had left God round her back. And her lesson or her downfall was not for her, but for the son,
What she loved the most.
what she loved the most. So it's not necessarily taking him away because he ended up, recovering.
Thank God.
But at the same time, she got that small or huge, if you want to call it that,
Wake up call.
wake up call for say, get yourself right with God,
Yeah, so guys, thank you for watching another episode of This Great Space.
Disgrace, babe.
Remember to like,
Comment.
share,
Subscribe.
and turn on all the notifications for the YouTube. Turn on all for notifications. Follow all
Follow all our socials,
follow our socials.
at This Great Space
On
on
Instagram,
Instagram, Twitter,
Twitter.
TikTok.
Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life.
Sir.
Get to know Him today. And if you don't know Him, you're moving mad, bro. Thank you guys all for watching This Great Space. Bye.
Bye, guys. Stay humble.